Hi everyone, Jess here, executive producer of Project LOKI, and welcome to our May Fireside chat. This is the one before some big news lands next month, which you'll hear more about after this playtest. But there's no time to think about the future when we've got all this cool stuff right now. You just saw some of the big visual upgrades we're shipping for Spikes, Nox, the Storm Circle, and our drop phase, all a part of our alpha production pipeline with more to come. It's very cool. Okay. Let's talk dates and times. May 30th to June 1st, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. PT and GMT. Happening in both NA and EU, with the last 2 hours of every day being bonus arena and duos. We heard great feedback for our earlier start times, so consider them canon from here on out. But what's in this playtest? Thematically speaking, I'd say that this playtest has a focus on polish, accessibility, and sanding down some of our more hacky features. Drop phase is a great example, taking inspiration from some of the cool stuff we've been working on behind the scenes. Vaults have also been updated visually, and the lockpicking sweet spot now automatically transforms when your team kills an obelisk. If this is new news to you, consider this a tip as well. While your teammate is lockpicking the vault, go and hit those big blocks to help them out. We've also done a comprehensive pass at tooltips, with both a simple version that tells you what it does in a sentence or less, and an advanced version with all of the numbers and scaling. Game complexity, or the feeling of it, has always been a big point of feedback for new players, so this is something we'll be working on from here until whenever we solve it. Don't get your hopes up. I wouldn't say we're going deep on balance just yet, but this playtest we are looking at some of our under and overperformers to see what can be done. More specifically, we've started breaking down the various skill checks each hunter has in their kit, so we can then make changes targeted at high, mid, or low MMR based on the skill checks we think roughly fall into each category. That sounds complicated, but to give 2 examples, Zeph has been popping off in coordinated high MMR lobbies thanks to his team-wide engage potential of his dash and his almost uncapped healing and damage output once he solves his mana problems. That said, entry-level Zephs don't have that kind of coordination to know when to throw their whole team into the mix, and many have actually been running themselves out of mana due to not knowing how to weave their LMB RMB combos properly. So, this patch will be nerfing the ally carry distance of Zeph's dash, but lowering the cooldown on it at later levels so high MMR Zephs can't engage as hard, but newer Zephs get to dash more. We've also simplified and separated Zeph's LMB and RMB combos so he's not juggling as many combinations in his head. A spicier example, Shrike. I'll just say up front that it's important for Shrike to be as lethal as she is because she very quickly teaches the importance of cover and space control to new players. She's very strong in mid to low MMR games, but falls sharply in higher tier ones as players learn to capitalize on her weaknesses. In some ways, she's like our version of the Op in Counter-Strike, or the Operator in Valorant. Both are polarizing weapons in their respective games, but they're critical in forcing teams to respect angles and corners. That's a lot of context to say we're bringing back the Shrike form of Blazer. This should disproportionately help newer players understand where the threat is coming from, while higher tier players already know the danger that Shrike presents. That's the headline. Not this playtest, but next playtest we're going to be resetting progression because things are happening. On that note, some of you have asked us why we even have a mini battle pass or hunter unlocks as you play in a closed alpha. For the first, we always have to be testing everything in our game because it's always the weird thing you don't think will break the game that will definitely break the game. You'd be surprised how often the wrong clock setting can break almost any feature in a game. And as for why we gate hunters behind progression unlocks, the simple answer is it helps us funnel new players towards more beginner-friendly choices. Unlocking hunters is also fun for some players, if just as a simple way of working towards your next goal, while keeping your choice complexity down. Finally, it's incredibly useful information to know what hunters players are choosing to unlock, if just to understand who's appealing to who. Anyways, this is a heads up. We're going to be resetting progression next month. If you unlocked referral rewards or other special content, you'll still have them, but you've been primed. Okay, that's this Fireside chat wrapped. I will see you all in the playtest and then next month when undisclosed things may happen. Have a good one.